Alright, we've explained the basics of Drakkhen, and now it's time to explain the rest. And really, this game is very straightforward. The only problem is, it doesn't tell you where anything is. More specifically, it doesn't tell you where all the castles are. Oh, it'll give you the stupid names for all the dragons, but they won't tell you where they are. So, you're probably going to want to download a map online. Either that, or you're going to be forced to make your own map, and well, it's kind of annoying. You start off outside Prince Hordkin's castle. Just head straight and you'll be there. Make sure you walk across the bridge to enter the castle because the water will drown you. When you enter the castle, there will be 4 doorways blocked by barriers. The only way to figure out what button you need to press is to press all 4 of them. If you get the right one, the barriers will disappear. Otherwise, a weak enemy shows up and tries to beat you up. This is the first opportunity to grind in this game, and it's probably your best one. If you simply keep pressing the wrong button, more weak enemies will appear, which you can easily take care of. Before we go on, I should let you know that each dungeon is kind of a maze. You'll run into multiple paths, dead ends, and traps. Instead of party wiping or resetting the game, there's actually an easy way out of dungeons. By using the door icon in the main menu, you can instantly leave the dungeon and try again later. Back in the castle, before you can move on, you need some armor and weapons. Go through the castle collecting the short swords and the bucklers on the walls and equip them. To get to Prince Hordkin, you'll need to head back to the entrance and take the staircase in the center of the room. You'll face off against a lizard. Kill him and go to the left. Don't worry about the armored lizard since he just runs away, and then head to the left. Kill the lizard there, and then head south. You'll meet up with Prince Hordkin, who will tell you to go visit his sister, LORDKAT. This will be a recurring theme in Drakkhen. Go here, talk to this person, come back to me. Why? I don't know. I guess they don't have holidays or family get-togethers in Drakkhen. Hey, if your sister was a gigantic green fire-spitting lizard thing, would you visit her? Once you're out of the castle, head to the east. If you need to get your bearings, just look at your map by pressing select. It'll give you a compass in the upper right corner of the screen. When you get your bearings and manage to head to the east, you'll come across a large flashing road. Stay away from this at all costs. Early on in the game, a dragon will drop down, constantly telling you about some garbage you don't care about. If you're a higher level, however, he will drop down and utterly decimate your hapless party. You have been warned. Head north or south to make it past the flashing arrows and keep trudging to the east, taking in the wonderful sights and sounds of Drakkhen, like flat green polygons for grass, horribly low-resolution bitmaps for rocks and trees, and the occasional random encounter. I guess we really need to discuss the whole concept of fighting in Drakkhen. We already covered the stats and the numbers and why Angry Joe absolutely blows in my campaign, but we really didn't discuss the whole strategy part. You do have some control over how your characters act. The only direct control you have, though, is using items and magic and what strategy to employ. If you have one character that is severely under-leveled compared to the rest of the group, then your best option is to set every other character to defend and let that one character attack, ensuring that they'll get the experience points they need to grind their way up. And there's that word again, grind. Let me give you a little tip. Do it early in this game. In fact, do it as soon as you're up for hours of bumping into enemies and not doing anything special. Why bother grinding early? Because you're going to need it later on. The sooner you start grinding, the higher level you'll be for the next set of enemies. Whether you choose to grind or not, your next stop is the castle to the east. Once you reach the castle, you'll be informed that Prince Drakkhen kidnapped Prince Hordka, and you'll have to go back to tell Prince Hordkin. As a side note, I don't know how the hell to pronounce a single name in this game. Drakkhen is spelled H-A-A-G-G-K-H-E-N. That is not a name, it's a terrible Scrabble hand. Anyway, head back to the castle. This time you'll face off against your fiercest opponent in the entire game, a shark. I'm not kidding, this dude is badass. As you're crossing the bridge, he'll jump out and instantly kill your characters one at a time. You don't even get a chance to fight this guy off. My god, he doesn't have any lasers on his head. Getting across this bridge is pretty difficult. Even if you time it correctly, there's a chance that the shark will jump up and kill you anyway. Your best option is to wait until after the shark heads directly under the bridge. It's really tough to time it, but if you do it right, you'll be good. If you haven't leveled up at all, now is the time to do it. The enemies here are stronger, but will give you more XP. Make sure you've leveled up your Scout or Magician enough so that they have the Unlock spell. If you only level up the Scout, make damn sure to keep him alive. At this point, you'll be able to buy the bow and arrows. Do not forget to buy them. Despite being the weakest of the weapons available, they're very useful since it keeps your characters out of melee range, which nearly 99% of the enemies are in this game. Once you're in the swamps, head to the castle in the northwest to get to the next dungeon. I'd recommend being at least level 4 before you take this dungeon on, since the enemies in here can be pretty mean. Once you reach the entrance of the castle, the drawbridge will be lifted so you can't get in. And this is where the game gets pants-shittingly retarded. You open the drawbridge by casting the unlock spell. How the fuck do you unlock a drawbridge? Outside of the usual enemies, there are only a couple of special rooms here that you need to worry about. The first one being a room with a large circle in it. You can have your priest or priestess stand in the middle to restore their HP, but it doesn't work for any other character, so it's completely useless. The other room is colored completely differently than any other room in the entire game. In here, you'll constantly lose HP and be attacked by bats. You could stay here and grind out some levels, but you'll need to spend a lot of time getting out of the room, healing up, and going back in to fight the bats. Really, your best option is to go to the door behind the curtain. You'll also run into the room with a monster in it that you cannot kill. It's some kind of unburnt thing in a fireplace. It doesn't hurt you, but you can't kill it, and your characters will spaz out trying to take it out. I don't really understand this myself, but I guess sometimes you just gotta beat the shit out of a fireplace. As you make your way through the miniature maze, you'll come across a large fountain. Have only one character touch the fountain. You'll be transported to a room of water. You need to move quick to get out of this room because an indestructible water monster will try to block you and cause you to die. Once you get out, you'll be in a room with a prisoner. Set him free by pushing the lever next to the door. For setting him free, he'll tell you that Princess Drakkhen was taken to Princess Drakkhen's castle, and to ask Prince Drakkhen where he is. His castle is in the far northeast corner of the island, in the icy region. Once you exit the palace, it's time to pack your bags and head to the northeast. From this point on, you won't be able to buy the bow and arrows from the wandering merchants. I guess their business plan didn't involve restocking items. Before you head to the castle, you might want to do some leveling up. The icy terrain is pretty harsh, and the enemies you'll meet there are so badass you'll actually have to fight Superboy Prime. Keep in mind, I don't know if you can actually beat Superboy Prime. I always assumed it was impossible and just ran away. After all, who wants to listen to that much whining? I'll kill you to death. Once you're ready, head to the castle in the far northeast and enter Drakkhen's castle. He'll greet you and tell you that his castle destroyed and that Drakkhen wants to kill Drakkhen and get her gem. And if you'll excuse me, I need to clear my throat for a moment. Anyway, go to Drakkhen's castle. It's the western dungeon of the icy region, and take care of this crazy dragon family mess. I've never imagined that in an RPG about dragons that I'd essentially become a family counselor. Once you're inside the castle, be careful because things here are very dangerous. I'd actually recommend being around level 7 or 8. This is also the point where you need to start hoarding equipment because it's going to break constantly from here on out. You'll find a Hypercurus and power shields for your fighter and scout. I'd recommend not equipping them and instead sticking with the more easily obtained armors because you don't want your high defense armor to break when you get hit by a weaker enemy. Save the good armor for the bosses. There's a trap room in here with one door that cannot be unlocked. It's pretty much a dick move by the developers. If you're stuck in there, you'll be forced to use the exit dungeon icon and start the dungeon all over again. If you can, avoid it at all costs. Eventually, you'll find a room with 2 switches. Hit both of them, and then head down and around to a room with 2 hyper armors and power shields. Head down a flight of stairs, and you'll eventually enter the catacombs. While in the catacombs, keep heading down until you can't. You'll be in a room that says you hear a strange sound. Head to the east, and you'll find Princess Drakkhen. Talk to her, hear her side of the story, find out about the 8 tears, get the tear from her, speak to her a second time, and she'll tell you that she's going to hack this palace, so you should follow her. This is where we enter the second phase of the game, collecting the 8 tiers. Hey, every other RPG on the planet wants you to collect an arbitrary number of things, so why not Drakkhen? You'll also need to be around level 9 or 10 to keep up with the increase in enemy difficulty. I'd actually recommend grinding in Drakkhen's castle, the one in the eastern part of the marsh pit, and the one you're going to visit if you need to level up some. There's only one path for you to take in this castle, so take it. Once you make it to Princess Drakkhen's chambers, talk to her and she'll tell you something about the Fire Prince, Drakkhen, and then ask you to go kill LORDKAT. A pretty bold request if you ask me. I mean, if a random group of 4 people walked up to your door, what would you do? Ask them their names? Hell no! You tell them to go kill that fucking asshole that mows his lawn every 3 days at 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, there's nothing else for you to do here except leave and go kill LORDKAT. Go back to his castle and save your game. This guy can be tough, even at your level. You might want to grind down a few more levels if you have the patience before you take him on. Head to the first castle you encountered in the game, yes, the shark is still there, and make your way to Prince LORDKAT's chambers. He'll attack you with a fireball, which can easily destroy your equipment. Make sure your priest is ready with heals, and that your magician is at full MP and throwing antimatter at the boss at will. Aside from that, make sure your fighter and scout use the strength spell and pray. Once you max out your stats with your equipment and spells, there's really nothing else you can do aside from sit back and watch the battle unfold. Grab a pizza, make a sandwich, and heal your party as necessary. Once LORDKAT is dead, go back to Drakkhen's castle and talk to her. She'll give you her tier as a reward. Your next objective is to visit Princess Drakkhen because, and this reason kills me, they haven't heard from her in a while. Okay, excuse me for just a moment, but you're practically in the middle of a dragon civil war. You've had humans kill off your rivals, and you've not heard from one of your allies? Did you not think to, oh, I don't know, go pay her a visit? So instead, you're gonna send a bunch of murderous humans to do your bidding for you? No wonder this dragon empire is crumbling. Before you head to Vuvuzela's, or whatever the hell her name is, castle, make sure to gain a few more levels. I'd recommend being around level 12 from this point forward, because the desert is a nasty place. The castle you want to go to is in the southwest of the desert, the southernmost location on the map. Head over there and enter the castle. And to nobody's surprise, everyone is dead, and there will be no random encounters. Instead, you'll simply find everything has been destroyed, and that Drakkhen herself has been killed with her tier removed. From her chamber, go down one room and kill the weak monster, which will net you Dracken's tier. Prince Drakkhen will appear, talk to him, and then go north to Princess Drakkhen's castle, or in human speak, the castle in the northwest corner of the map. There, you'll be tasked with killing the princess. Since you've been there before, you really won't need to level up much more, except that now you've got to kill the dragon in the castle, and this is no small task. She is a pain in the ass. Before entering the room with Drakkhen, have everyone equipped with ghost staves, and anyone without one cast invisibility on themselves. Have the priest and magician cast shield on everyone. Make sure the fighter and scout have dragon swords and war rings. Change their combat settings to have strength cast to boost up their powers so they can do the most damage possible. Equip the priest and magician with sage rings. Rest a few minutes to let all of your HP and MP recover. Even with all of that preparation, this battle is pretty tough. Have the priest and magician attack with antimatter. Let the magician go all out with the antimatter and ranged attacks, while holding the priest back for throwing a couple of heals. Don't be surprised if you think you need to power level your way through this fight. Drakkhen is pretty nasty. She'll throw her paralyze spell at your party members, making them completely useless for a short amount of time. It also destroys armor. Keep your characters equipped and healed as much as possible, though, and you should be able to make it through this one. Once she's dead, Prince Drakkhen will appear and give you his tier, and then tell you to kill Drakkhen and Drakkhen. Why couldn't he just kill her, or them? I don't know. Maybe he needed someone else to do his wet work. Go south to the marsh and head to the castle in the west. Head inside and you'll face off against Drakkhen. If you follow the same tactics for Drakkhen with this guy, this fight will be a joke. Once he's dead, you'll have 7 of the 8 tiers. There's only one dungeon left, in the southern desert. Go there. I'd recommend being anywhere from level 12 to level 15 at this point. Before you can enter the castle, you must first get a permit to enter. I don't know why you need a permit when you're actually just a murderous horde of people trying to kill everything in your path. It's kind of silly, really, to be turned away from raiding a dungeon because you didn't have the proper papers. Oh well. Murderous as you guys are, you still obey the rules. Enter one of the 2 tents just south of the castle and you'll be handed a permit. That was a simple puzzle, really. Once you're in the castle, I really recommend getting the dragon gear. From the entrance, go left and down. Fight any enemies in your way and unlock any doors in your path. Eventually, you'll find a dragon that's on your side. Listen to what he has to say and then move on. Eventually, you'll find yourself at a dead end with a dragon curious, greaves, and sword for you to take. Take them, but do not look at them or the empty file in the room. If you do, you'll have to fight a very powerful dragon. Now, if you're strong enough, you could level off of this guy, but chances are he's going to kill you. Once you're finished in that room, use the exit dungeon icon and do it all again to get everyone enough armor and weapons. You'll need them. Once you're ready, take the alternate path and eventually it will lead you to Drakkhen. This boss fight is extremely difficult if you're not prepared, so you're gonna have to be prepared the same way you did for the other fights. Ghost staves or invisibility, war rings, sage rings, strength spells, and antimatter. Eventually, he'll die, and you'll get the 8th tier. An old man will appear and tell you what you need to do. Go visit the flashing rainbow road in the middle of the forest. And this is pretty much the end of the game. Walk to the floating road and... Well, folks, that's Drakkhen, an RPG on UW. I hope you're happy. It took 2 episodes to complete an RPG, a short RPG, by the way. Well, now that I've knocked an RPG out, I guess it's time to knock a strategy out, isn't it?